Hello, everyone on YouTube as well, and welcome to Sunday Evening Livecast, everyone. We're going to wait for some people to pile in here on Instagram. I don't seem to be getting anybody on Instagram or YouTube. Normally I get people on Instagram by now. Very odd. Huh. Strange. Well, oh, we got somebody. All right. Welcome, guys. Welcome, welcome. I'll wait for more people to pile in here. And yeah, today I have a commission by a really nice guy who I met, let's see, at a Pokemon convention, who wanted a Arcane as a Zoid. So I'm kind of excited about that. And Line says, hello back, my friend. And yeah. So, and 2134 says, it's been a minute, bro. Yeah, I've been gone for the last 2 weeks. I've been actually out of town, doing conventions and so on, but I am back this week and ready to rock and roll. So let's rock and roll, everyone, and see if we can draw this Zoid. 2130 says, love you, man. I love you too, man. Thanks for showing up. I do appreciate it. And I'm also on YouTube, guys, so if you want to help that algorithm at all, swing on by there. I think I'm going to try and make that my preferred broadcast space, so if you want to support that format, very welcomed. And other than that, let's do a little housekeeping. I do have a Robots and Mecha drawing class on Proko, as well as a line weight class. Both of these classes I actually highly recommend, especially the line weight class. So head on over to Proko and sign up for that line weight class and take your drawings to the next level and help support these live streams as well. So yeah, let's draw our Zoid. I'm using pencil today, and I've been actually working on my own manga. And as a result of that, I've been using pencil a lot more. And yeah, kind of getting used to it as a medium. But this Zoid is a beast. It's an Arcane Zoid from Pokemon. And it's a bit of a beast of a concept to do. The Zoids are very detailed, have a very distinct look. And I'm trying to capture that here. Turbo Creation says, I take great inspiration from your work. Never had time to stop in on one of your lives, but keep up the great work. I really appreciate that. Thank you. And it's all about, yeah, I want to inspire you guys as much as I can. So just a heads up, I'm actually expanding my Robot and Mecha class, but I'm also working on a sketchbook class too, where I talk about some of my sketchbook techniques and so on. So look out for that in the future. No announced date on either of those yet, though the robot one is coming along quite well. So that one should be along hopefully in the next month or two, depending on schedule. But that's, you know, I'm going to be, you know, sharing some of the more, what do you call it? You know, more technical aspects of robot design. We're going to get into materials and processes a lot more. So yeah, look out for that, and always trying to inspire and keep educating and sharing what I know, because you know, I'm going to be 50 years old this October, so I got to pass this stuff on, guys. I'm you know, 50 more years, I'm going to croak. 2134 says Instagram, right? Or meant to say Instagram, right on. No problem, my friend. We are all a victim of the typo here. Have no fear. I think, yeah, it's hard to believe when someone actually says something ridiculous on the internet, because you're like, wait, is that a typo? And 99 times out of 100 it is. So the internet is quite the typo space. Oh, that's odd. This just fell on me. I don't know why. Strange. 1 second. I got to fix this. Yeah, just out of the blue, this just sort of slid down. All right, let's keep going here. Actually, I'm going to get this thing more centered for YouTube, and then, okay, I think we're good here. Yeah, I got 2 different cameras. I'm still working on my space for this, but you know, it's coming along like everything else. It's a learning process. Hope I can have most of the bugs about this stuff kind of squared away by the fall, because I want to get a bit more serious about streaming and making content this fall. But it's summer right now, and I must admit I'm enjoying myself. I'm having a great time this summer. I hope you all are too, or as well, depending on what hemisphere you're in. But yeah, Yeah, summer's been it's been a good one. I've been actually building a little mini house for my daughter. She has some I have a she's you know, just something we're working on for her, and so I'm spending time with that. And I also got a new puppy this summer as well, and I've been really enjoying that. So it's nice having a new fluffy family member. A big fan of animals, so let's see. I'm just trying to figure this out, making sure. Trying to get that arcane silhouette. It's a very fluffy creature. Karim Mizi says, "Do you guide yourself with big shapes?" Absolutely. Yeah, it's. I think it's best to start with big shapes. Generally, with drawing robots, sometimes I just jump into it, but yeah, I think starting with big shapes is really the best way to draw. You know, get those big silhouettes. I talk about that a lot in my line weight drawing class, where it really is important to you know, have a good solid silhouette and good relationship between your big shapes initially. And actually, to get this arcane as a Zoid, it's very tempting to go into the details. In fact, I've had one previous attempt at this before I got on, and I made the mistake of not addressing my big shapes first, and then I had to unfortunately start all over again. There's, you know, if your big shapes are wrong and your overall gesture of the thing's wrong, there's really no fixing it. You know, your core of what you're doing isn't good, and it's probably best to start over, unfortunately. So that's just what I did. Started all over, and you know, lost about 5 minutes of time. But yeah, I recommend starting with big shapes. Typically, you know, I think what's becoming more and more my quotable statement is, you know, learn the rules so you can break them. Can't break a rule you don't know in art. So yeah, but that's the way it is. Now, hopefully, I texted Jason before I started this live stream, so hopefully he swings by and checks out the work we're doing for him. It's just been a real fun thing to be doing, this commission. Well, we're figuring it out slowly but surely. Let's see, do we have anyone on YouTube? We have no one on YouTube. Yeah, I got to work on that YouTube. I got to find a format and stream once or twice a week. Doing some shenanigans. You know, the economy's a little slow right now, so I think it will allow me some bandwidth to kind of grow that and see where we can go with it. A couple of different formats I want to try, and we'll see what we can do. 2134 says, I really trying to fully understand your style, but it's difficult, but I am still grinding my Instagram drawings. Might look half as good as yours one day. Yeah, take my class. It's the easiest way to do it. I think my robot class at current is about $30 to $35 US. Pretty approachable. Unfortunately, I'm going to add some new content in the future, and that's going to up the price, so really now's the time to buy it. But and then, of course, the line weight class I highly recommend too. I really go into my techniques quite a bit there. It's good stuff. Good stuff. I'm really proud of it. I'm really excited to see how my students are making progress and how much it's positively affecting their work. I really have a very streamlined, very quick teaching style. I don't like to waste people's time. So you can kind of get in there and learn and improve very quickly. Oh, Extreme maybe says, "You okay? White paper." Yeah, I'm doing a commission. What's up, dude? How you been, man? Yeah, white paper today. I know it's not my typical, but it's for a commission, and you know, kind of wanted to do it on the stream, and it's just easier to see on the stream if it's white paper and if I'm working in pencil. So, all right, I think we can go to ink real quick. So let's Zoidify this guy. I'm kind of going back and forth between reference for a Zoid and then you know, reference for the arcane. So we're kind of bopping back and forth with our reference quite a bit. But let's see where this goes. I'm kind of excited to see what happens with this drawing. Kind of like what we got. I think it's on point. I think we still need many more Zoidy details on here, but we'll get it. We'll get. Does anyone remember Zoids from? Oh, actually, they've re-released them. They were big in the '80s. You know, they're just one of those robot toys that you built in a kit, and they actually had wind-up features. Very clever toy. Very beautiful. Really something that I remember. I went to Block Island one year, and they had a toy store on Block Island. And I saw this worm Zoid, and I absolutely loved it. Oh, the shapes were magnificent, and the proportions were great. And I played with that thing, and perhaps that toy is what made me the designer I am today. So, what is what it is. 2134 says, "Have you ever been to Trojan Horse? Is a unicorn? Because it would be amazing to see you in that." I'm not familiar with what that is. Trojan Horse is a unicorn. Yeah, I'm sorry. You have me at a loss. I don't know what that is, but it sounds exciting. Extreme maybe says, "Just checking in on you as far as using white paper." I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it. Someone's got to check in on me. I got to tell you, my wife is dropping my daughter off at summer camp today, and so it's just me and my son here all alone because my other son's at camp. So yeah, I'm without without someone to watch me. So I could get into all sorts of trouble, I gotta tell you. 28 says, "I love your Proco vids, man. Still waiting for the Spanish to avenge the English in Espanol. Love your work. Thank you so much." Laura just says, "They do sketchbook studies with a lot of masters. You'd be a great fit." Oh, that would be cool. Sketchbook studies with a lot of masters. That sounds like fun. Yeah, I'll check it out. Shoot me. Unfortunately, my recall is terrible when I live stream. I'll forget what you told me. But if you shoot me a message of that, I'll be sure to check it out. Sounds kind of neat. Kind of neat. So yeah, if anyone, being that the economy's crap for us artists right now, if you guys ever want a commission, give me a shout. I've actually lowered my prices on my commissions in honor of this crappy economy. And yeah, if you want one, now's the time. So don't be shy. I think I have some time next week. Though I am getting an ash can ready for a comic book show of a manga I've been working on. So I'll be announcing that for Westboro Comic Con very soon. Lourdes sent me a link right on. Let's see, right on. All right. So let's keep cranking on this guy here. Trying to add as many Zoidy details in here. Zoidy details. You can turn anything into an adjective. All right. I'm not sure I have that full Zoids feel yet, but I'm trying to get as many details in here for Jason as I can, so when he gets this commission, he's happy with it. I might have to mess around with my pens a little bit in the second one. This one's getting very dry. Now, something that I do, a little Pentel pen trick that I do, I'll show you it to you later, because I'm about to make a change here. But I often take out the bladders of these to make the brush a bit drier. And when the brush is drier, I have a bit more control over my line weight. Unfortunately, a big weakness of these Pentel Pocket brush pens is they tend to get a little wet. And when they're wet, you lose a lot of control. It's much harder to control your pen nib when it gets too moist like that. So what I do is I actually remove the bladder from this thing. And I'm about probably a few minutes away from showing you what I do. Extreme maybe says, when the wife goes out of town, I do risky business dance, sunglasses and all. Nice. Yeah. The wifey, the freedom from wives. Actually, my wife's pretty cool. She lets me do whatever I want. She just pretty much keeps my head from getting stuck in stuff. Every now and again, she's got to take out a rolled up newspaper and set me back in order, but I'm quite a handful, I must admit. I think she likes that, though. I think she likes I bring a lot of fun into her life. She's an engineer from a very Baptist family, so she, I don't know, Baptists really got to lighten up. Baptists that I know, holy heck. Yeah, you actually have to definitely, I don't know if many of you guys know many Baptists, but holy smokes. The ones I know, God, can have a little bit of fun. But yeah, they're pretty chill when it comes to fun, that's for sure. But yeah, she's an engineer from a family that's, you know, a little bit dry. But, well, I think my wife enjoys my shenanigans. Making up for some lost time. So yeah, right now we're just messing with detail. Yeah, I kind of went in there, just established the big shapes, and then now I'm going in and trying to be as zoidy-toity as I can be. I got a picture of a zoid next to me, and I'm just kind of getting a feel for the details and the proportions and stuff like that, surface detail. I'm be a little bit more organic than your typical zoid, but let's see what we can do. Actually isn't turning out that bad. It's kind of nice. Just with the economy, I get to take on more commissions than I normally do. I get to baby them too. Really, if you ever wanted a commission or some original Toy Go Go artwork, really now's the time. Or really any artist. And there's so many artists right now that have been out of work for a while. Fortunately, I've been getting regular work, but not as much as I normally get. And then I've been supplementing, you know, through other means like teaching and so on, and doing cons. And I gotta admit, you know, I'm having a ball. Kind of like I'm like side questing everything. Armor Hussein's 37 says, "Hi, sir. Hi back." But yeah, it's a crazy time to be an artist. You know, I think the economy might hit artists kind of early, but things are, yeah. Save your money, guys, because we're seeing some crazy stuff in the art world, and I have a feeling it's economically based. I don't think it's just AI that's eating away at us. So, might be coming for you crazy kids next. Yav says, hi. Yavjan says, amazing, thank you. Extreme maybe just did a Simpsons quote. I believe it's a Simpsons quote. You said, what is it called? Isn't Shenanigans that restaurant with all the crap on the wall? So Mo. Oh, yeah, from Venezuela. You're from Venezuela. Right on, man. Sounds awesome. I'm trying to think if I've ever been to Venezuela. I've been through South America, and you always touch down, and then you're just like, where did I go? Where did I start this ride? Been to Argentina. I'm not sure if I've been to Venezuela, but I remember on my way to Argentina, I stopped somewhere and I forgot the country. But good times, very good times. Really liked Argentina. The people were kind of grouchy. I was in, was it Schwat? No, it was like the southernmost city in the world. Everyone was very grumpy there, but the dogs were super friendly. So I petted all the dogs when I was in Argentina. And then I went to Antarctica and had a blast. Me and the missus. Okay. So I think I'm close to showing you guys my little Pentel pocket brush pen trick. See if I missed any comments. I did not. Oh, I gotta finish up a page on my manga today. I try to do one page a week, and I don't know. Almost done with this one, but I think there's one day where I didn't work on it, which isn't like me, and I think I'm paying for it. But yeah, if anyone's going to be at the Westboro comic book show next month, I believe the 8th of August, I'd love to see you there, guys. If you make it out to that crazy neck of Pennsylvania, get to hang out with all my friends. I did a Archie comic book cover with the mighty Will Perkins. Great guy. He did the colors, I did the inks and illustration, and yeah, it's going to be a cover we'll have released for the show. So it's exclusive to the show, and looking forward to it. It's on the Piemageddon Archie series. So it's Archie. Well, I'm not going to show you just yet. I think it's on the internet, but I'll let you guys hunt it down. It's a pretty cool cover. I'll post it after the show. Let's see here. Yeah. Yeah, it's funny. I had one of those okay, I'll show you my had a parent, the kid really wanted my Soundwave comic book, and I told him how much it was because I had a remark on it, and he actually got a little angry at me. I'm sorry, man, there's only 750 ever printed. But I sell them pretty cheap. Okay, so I just switched the bladder out of these things, out of these brushes. So this one's going to get a little wet. And if it gets too wet, I'll just switch to this one, which doesn't have a bladder. And that's just a good way to kind of control your saturation of how much you have on the pen nib. Another one was getting just a little too dry. Well, actually, this one is the one that was too dry. It's filling up right now. So it's really weird because it's hard to keep control. Oh, there we go. Okay, she just got hydrated. But yeah, it's easy to lose control of these pens, that's for sure. Okay, now I can go in and fill in black. The power of black. The Autonomous Travel says, save your money, live it up. Luckily, I've kind of done both. Right on. Yeah, save your money. Save that money. Yeah, now's the time to definitely save the old monies. Yeah, I've pretty much stopped most unnecessary spending. We've really just don't know what's going on with the economy. I don't know how you guys are feeling about that, but we, my family, I mean, we're feeling it, the brunt of it pretty directly. You know, I've definitely seen a downturn in my business, which has been very consistent and very lucrative for the past 10 years. And of course, we took that advice and saved our money. But yeah, I don't know. It's a bit uncomfortable out there in terms of the economic expression of everything. But these times do come and go in the course of history, and I think now is our time. We'll see what the severity of what's expressed by it, but I think it'll be fine either way. Honestly, I'm liking being a bit more conscious of my spending. I'm more grateful for when I do get something. I'm very grateful for it. Whereas before it, consumption almost felt, I don't know, not very well considered. All right. S2S says, hi everyone, what are you drawing? I am drawing an Arcane as a Zoid. So this is the Arcane Pokemon. It's a fire dog Pokemon. And I am attempting to, it's for commission. Someone commissioned it at a Pokemon Con, so a week later I'm finally getting to it. I apologize, Jason. I was hoping to have it earlier to you, but I was working on a movie this week, which is a good thing, a good problem to have, very good problem to have. But now we're doing it. So, but yeah. It's sort of mixing the Zoids and the Pokemons. I like being older because you get to say everything as if it's a plural. So it's not Pokemon anymore. It's Pokemons. Gotta get a piece of paper here so I don't smudge. So yes, it is Pokemons now. And yeah, it's a great idea. I was really excited to work on this. Great guy too. So I'm hoping... I sent him a message and said, hey, I'm working on this on my live stream today. So check it out. So hopefully he checks it out and likes where this is going. You never know. You never know. Never ever know. Let's see. Can we get more detail on here? This is a very detailed piece. Honestly, I've undercharged for the commission, but I have no problem doing that. It's a fun one. I got the time, and it's a fun concept. Scenic Evil says, so inspiring. Thank you. All right, so let's keep going with Mr. Arcane here. So I hope everyone's doing well out there in the cyber world. Everyone's enjoying their summer, such as it is, as quickly as it goes by, and it does go by very quickly. At least here in the Northeast, boy, summer it's about 2 months, and then that's it. It cools down pretty quickly. And we were in the 70s here in northern New York, and it feels a bit like September, I must admit. So I feel a little... I do welcome the break in the heat, but I also feel a little cheated. Summer's so short, and a week of it's going to be in the 70s, so it's a very not typical for this area. But yeah, normally it's quite hot this time of year. And last week it was extremely hot, and I think it's cooled down a bit. Now we have warmer temperatures, or cooler temperatures, sorry. So let's keep cranking on this Zoid here. Something I liked about Zoid is these little rubber, almost like rubber bolts that the original toys had. It had a really great aesthetic, particularly for the 80s when I believe it came out. Really a great toy. Not a big seller, not one of the, well, actually it was quite legendary in its own right. It was a legendary toy, but not as big as Transformers or G.I. Joe. It was very niche. Definitely made a statement, and was definitely very much ahead of its time, too. So, I love Zoids. Extreme Maybe says, what do you call a bear without teeth? A gummy bear. Dads unite. Let's see. Autonomous Traveler says, he will like that you are drawing it online. You can show his friends the process. Right on. Yeah, I hope so. Yeah, if you guys want, I'll do a, if you want me to do a commission for you online on a live stream, I think that would be fun. Having a ball doing this, so that's a great format. Of course, if it goes bad, you got to sit there and cringe and just go, oh my god, I spent that much for this? No, I wouldn't. I'd redo it if it went bad. But, it is what it is. So right now I got 2 kids at summer camp. My daughter just got dropped off at summer camp, so I'm hoping she has a good time there. Always sad to have your kids out of the house. I like having my kids around. We're getting to be teenage years, so it's getting to be a handful. But I like having them around, and I like being there with them, so... Another one of these rubber bolt things. But yeah, it's during the day it's just me and my wife, so I think probably have a lunch date tomorrow or Tuesday. And then I don't know, do something, enjoy our parental freedom. I think my son's downstairs doing who knows what. Some sort of silliness. Is this the one without the bladder? Yep, okay. Still feels a little damp, but it'll straighten out. Oh, and our nib actually split. There we go. Let's get it back in line. Yeah, it's weird. When the nib is this damp, it's very hard to control the flow of the ink. When it's drier, it's a lot more forgiving. You can draw faster too. I really have to baby it when it's this wet, but it's going to dry out very soon. Yeah, I'm liking the way this is coming so far. yeah, hopefully Jason shows up and goes, "Oh my gosh, stop! This is horrible! Oh my God, what are you doing?" One of my favorite Simpsons lines is Lisa got braces, and she showed the doctor. The doctor's like, "Hey, what's the deal with your braces?" And let's see them. And they're like, "Oh, they couldn't be that bad." And she showed the doctor her braces, and the doctor goes, "There is no God." It's just such a strong statement. That show in its heyday was really good. I'm not sure what happened to it, but and what's funny is my oldest son, he got into The Simpsons a little while ago. I think he watched it up to maybe season 10 or 11 or something. He's like, yeah, it just kind of sucked after that. He stopped watching it, but yeah, he really loved The Simpsons for a while. He was really into it. He'd get up every morning and just watch The Simpsons. Because sometimes, like our family, we have to get Disney Plus for work. Though I'm not a super Disney guy, so I don't like having it too much. And so we have it for work. So my kids got to get all their Disney watching in before I cancel it again. Whoops! Especially after those layoffs they just did, I'm like, eh. That was nasty. I've actually partied with some of those artists that got laid off on the Marvel team. Really good group of guys. Um, this is before they got big, but you could tell they were going to be big. At least the one that I hung out with. Really nice guys too. But yeah, seeing them get laid off is a little terrifying. Um, Observe says, I'm struggling to go from pencil sketch to inking, especially shading is challenging for me. But you have a lot of good examples. I do. I also have a line weight drawing class, which will help you immensely. Really, going to ink is a lot about line weight and learning to keep your lines open, how to keep them open, which is a skill in and of itself. And of course, the basic fundamentals of, I call it the three line weight process. But, structuring your lines in such a way that, um, you know, you can get better line weight. But yeah, when you switch to inking, you absolutely have to understand line weight and leaving your lines open to make it effective. Because you kind of get a natural sort of line weight when you work with pencil or even ballpoint pen. But once you get to ink, you really need to know how to control your line weight purposefully. And that's what my class covers. So check out my line weight class. It'll help you out greatly. It's on Proco. And yeah, the results my students are getting are great. And getting lots of good reviews. So check it out. Of course, I'm some a-hole on the internet, so I'm going to try and sell you something. But believe me when I say I do take my classes very seriously. Yeah. So let's see. Homer is my guy. He said alcohol is the cause and solution to all of most of the world's problems. It is true. And technically, in chemistry terms, alcohol is a solution. And I say this coming from a family of raging alcoholics. Yes. I was actually talking about some of my alcoholic family members to one of my buddies today. Like when you grow up with like some lunatic family, like I have a lot of alcoholics on my mom's side, and you get together for like family get-togethers and stuff, and there's like just always something like completely. For me, it's like, it's not normal, it's not right, but I can tolerate it because I've just been around it all my life. But then when you tell your friends, they're like, oh my God, are you serious? That's insane. Like people just get punched out in your family? Oh, yeah. Yeah. The potential for assault is very real. Yeah, fortunately, yeah. Now that I have kids, I'm like, yeah. I try to keep my distance a bit more. But yeah, I have a wild drunken family. It's quite interesting. But yeah, I was telling my buddy about it, and he's like, "Oh my God, are you serious?" That's accepted. Like what? Yeah, I don't know if you guys have families like that or family members like that, but you just kind of there is no bottom to what you can expect. And you just sort of abandon all standards and expectations. Yeah, that's life. Fortunately, I consider myself a kind of a pattern breaker, so I don't. There will be none of that in my family. That is not acceptable. Hopefully, you guys are the same way. Once you take the reins of your own family, you people can walk into your family with standards and have fairly reasonable expectations that they'll be met. As opposed to some families who are like, nope, that's not going to happen. It's pretty crazy. So I don't know if anyone has a crazy family like that, but they exist. They exist. My advice is, yeah, if you become the black sheep, you're doing it right. Yeah, he was a little. My buddy was a little shocked at my stories. I'm like, really? That was that bad? You know, yeah, that was pretty horrible. All right, well, the more you know. Yeah, it's some colorful. I've had some colorful get-togethers. Yeah, now that I have kids, I'm like, do I want to hang around these people anymore? Um, let's see. Extreme Movie says, crazy. My son has seen a good portion of The Simpsons through the YouTube clips. I told him he has to watch the actual show. He really does. The show's great. Especially the first 8 seasons, 8 to 10 seasons. Because it's super quotable. It's just such a good show. Or was, anyway. I haven't watched it in years. My son says, like, the later seasons, because I haven't watched some of the recent seasons, he says they're not very good. So I'll take him at his word. He's got pretty good taste. Speaking of being a degenerate parent, yeah, he's my son that I watch R-rated movies with. Yep, that was my dog going, what? No, it's true. I have taken my son through all of the 1980s action movie and sci-fi essentials. We've watched, let's see, what did we watch? What was it? We watched The Thing. He loves The Thing, so do I, for that matter. And, and why I did that little line there is explained in my course. Gotta watch out for eye traps. Gotta watch out for them. But yeah, he wants to watch Commando. I think we're gonna watch that when he gets back. I gotta order it on DVD, or Blu-ray rather. Why stream when you can own? How are you guys feeling about the potential resurgence of physical media? I never quit on physical media. I was always, I always like having a hard copy. And, you know, for a while people would look at me like I'm like some sort of relic. I'm like, no, I think it's very logical to have a physical copy of something. You know, having actual physical propriety of information, I think, is very important. Read 1984 if you don't agree, but yeah, it's good stuff. But yeah, I like physical media. I think I will continue liking physical media. Comment here. Hello, nice drawing. I'm sure this one will look amazing. Thank you so much, Martin. Or Marin. Gosh, I'm missing comments left and right here, guys. Gotta get with it. Oh, Extreme maybe says, my family is mostly the women who are crazy, always fighting, doing time, and all around lunacy. Yeah. Welcome to the club, buddy. Yeah, the one thing though is like my family's really good at staying out of jail. You know, there hasn't been a lot of. I think my grandfather might have spent some time in jail, but that's about it. But yeah, it's. I must admit, some of them are pretty close to it, but. Yeah, family's nuts. Good old lunacy, family lunacy. Yeah, sometimes it's good to be the black sheep. How are we doing on time? Oh my gosh, 5:40. I don't know if I will get this thing done. Maybe we should try and finish it, but we're making some pretty good progress here. I think Jason hasn't shown up yet, so hopefully he likes it. It is looking like an Arcane and a Zoid, so but we have a lot more Zoidy, Zoidy-toidy things to add to this. So we'll get there. We will get there. Just trying to think of some things right now that I need to address. You know, let's bring in the old Microns. What do you say? Let's keep cranking here. I'll get some Zoid reference up here. I'm using a iPad Pro for my reference thing, but its screensaver's on, so it keeps turning off after every few minutes. So I have to re-enter the password. We're learning. We're learning. All right. Let's see. Autonomous Traveler says you can always find a lot of DVDs in the thrift store. Yeah, but you're not going to find Commando. I'll tell you that. I've never actually seen a lot of Arnold Schwarzenegger's films. I've never seen them in a thrift store or a rummage sale. People keep those, man. Good old Arnold. I'm wondering what me and my son are going to do today. Just me and him tonight. My wife's driving back from the Adirondacks. Is he ready for R-rated movies? Absolutely not. He's pretty sensitive to that sort of stuff. He doesn't like a lot of gore or scary stuff. I am proud of him. He went rock climbing for the first time yesterday. And he goes, Dad, I didn't go up very far, but I did it. And he enjoyed it, I think. And his buddies, a scout troop. He had a sleepover with his pals, and it was a good time. Really proud of him. He turns 11 in a few days, and he's kind of coming into his own. Good little dude. I think actually he got Hyrule Warriors for his birthday, and I think he'll be playing that. Armar says, Growth Light? No, this is the Arcane. The Arcane Pokemon. Really interesting challenge where I have a commission where, yeah, he wants me to do a Zoids version of an Arcane. I'm like, all right, well, that's cool. Let's do it. It's up my alley. I'm a Zoids guy. I'm a Zoidy kind of guy. It's a very middle age joke right there. Very Zoidsy. Dudes. I'm at that age where it's time for me to really start misusing the terms dude. Or whatever. I gotta find out what was the hip thing to say about 10 years ago, and then start saying it to the current generation, like I'm in the pipe, so to speak. See, I'm hip too, guys. I say, I don't know what the hell kids say. Yeah, I have not been hip. I've never been hip. I've always been kind of a nerd. But I have had some level of understanding of the vernacular of my day, but now I'm completely at a loss. Give me some like appropriately dated slang that I can use with young people. It can't be my time. It can't be from my time. It's got to be maybe 10 years ago. So if you guys got any slang I can start throwing at, teens and 20-somethings, I think that would be hilarious. It's really, I'm really at the age where it's just really about just being obnoxious. Being as lame as possible. Though I just did a logo for a punk band. And I'm like, if you guys are ever in the Syracuse area, I'd love to, I'm like, yeah, I did their logo. And I'm like, yeah, I'd love to check you guys out if you don't mind a 50-year-old lame guy in your audience. They did not get back to me with that request. So... They're like, old lame guy, don't come to our show. I'll tell you boys, I've been more punk rock than you ever be. It's more punk rock at 3 months old than you guys will ever be. I still got a little bit of the punk rock spirit. Still rebel. Actually, probably more. I think everything's shit. I'm against everything. Yeah, that's pretty punk rock. I literally disagree with everything and everyone right now. I'm probably in one of the most disagreeable stages of my life ever. You talk politics, you're like, yeah, the other guy is like crap, and I think he's this garbage candidate and killing our country and corrupt. And I'm like, yeah, I'm right there with you. And then you go, and my candidate is great. And I'm like, no, I think the same way you think about the guy you hate. I hate them all. Yeah, it's definitely a time of cynicism. I hate everybody. I don't have a political home. Completely out there. Let's see. The autonomous travelers using says use groovy. It's a boomer term. No, we're not going to go all the way to boomers. I think using boomer terms right now will get you punched in the head. People are pissed at the boomers. But yeah, I'm not, just out of fear, I'm not going to use boomer terms. Though I do on occasion break out the term 23 skidoo. I find that one hilarious. Hoping to use that one for the rest of my life. I guess I will use that one, even though there is a risk of me being punched in the head. But I got to tell you guys, you know, when you got a face like mine, your risk of being punched in the head's pretty high. I used to be pretty though. Then I got old. My looks faded. I got fat. So somebody in my Proco Live video actually said, "Hey, Lynn's kind of cute." And I'm like, "Well, I'm assuming you're a dude, and you know, hey, still got it. Just having a good hair day or something that day, or the lighting was right. I don't know. Afraid that if you see me in real life, you're gonna be grossly disappointed." Published SNK says, "Do you draw comics?" Well, yeah, I'm currently I do comic book covers on occasion, and I'm currently working on a manga with varying results. Sometimes I have good pages, sometimes I have bad pages, but every page I learn. That's what it's about. Yeah, it's just kind of my own little personal exercise. I do one page a week. In a year, you got 50 pages. 4 years, you got a whole manga. So it's a good bit of fun. Oh my gosh, 40. So I don't know if we'll have this done for the live stream, but we'll be pretty close. We'll be pretty close, folks. Let's try and get some Zoidy details. Zoidy toidy. I don't like Transformers. I only like Zoids. I'm Zoidy toidy. Lame. Yep, I'm there. I'm not funny anymore. I'm just cringe. It's alright. Yeah, getting old's a trip, man. I gotta tell you, it's you have these moments of melancholy where you're like, oh my gosh, all these things I used to love are just completely gone. You know, it's just like relationships and stuff you never thought would go away are gone, and places you thought would be around forever are gone, and it's crazy getting older. Outgrowing the things you love, you know? Yeah, that's something I don't like. You know, I was actually at my, I was actually in Watertown, New York, at my childhood mall, and it's very bizarre. I you know, I grew up in the '80s, and malls were very active places back then. You know, a lot of action, a lot of activity going on, and you know, my mall now, it's dead. All the old stores are gone. The end cap stores are gone. You know, there's no toy stores anymore in the mall, which is a huge bummer. And yeah, it just kind of gave me a melancholy. I'm like, holy crap, you know, so much has changed. So I was in there with my son, and I'm like, yeah, you know, this place used to be very different. You know, when I was your age, very different. It's not just the stores that change, but also like the way malls operate. People don't really... Malls are kind of a dead space. They used to be a very active, packed space. I remember going to the mall on the weekend, as a kid, and you'd be shoulder to shoulder with people. And this was in a tiny mall in upstate New York. And now you go in there, and gosh, there's barely it's dead. It's really something else. Really something else. But it's one of the things about growing old is not only do the things you change kind of go away or change, but also the things around them. Your society, your economy, spending habits, temperaments, all that changes as well. But for you younger folks, and I know there's many of you out there, I wish you had an opportunity to see the malls and kind of had a lot of the experiences I had in the 80s and early 90s. It was a wonderful time to be a kid. In fact, a lot of the things that you guys have now, Ninja Turtles, Transformers, G.I. Joe, all that stuff came to being in the 80s. So 80s was really kind of a cultural, very influential decade in terms of culture, because a lot of the stuff from that era still persists to this day. So it's very exciting. 80s, yeah, 80s. I mean, you got some of the biggest brands ever in that era, and it was great. There was magical being around the genesis of those things. I remember going to the store and seeing Transformers for the first time in America, and how impactful that was, and how exciting that was. And yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of theories on why we aren't making new things. I think part of it is like culturally we're very uncertain. And when things are that uncertain, you kind of crave familiarity, and you're less likely to take cultural risks. And I think that's a big part of why we're having this kind of overt stagnation in our economy and culture and so on. There's just, we do not feel safe, nor do we feel optimistic. And I think that affects the expression of our art and so on. So, I don't know. I'd like to hear your thoughts on that. Questionable either way. Let's see what we can do to get more Zoidy details. Oh, we got to get a little pipey stuff in there. Let's see here. But yeah, I'm kind of happy with the way this is turning out. It's not too shabby. Not too shabby at all. Oh, my wife just made it home from dropping my daughter off at camp. Yeah, my poor wife, she's been shuttling these kids to camp for the past couple days and racking up the mileage. That's what it takes. That's what it takes. So we'll see how camp goes for these kiddos. Hopefully my daughter has a good time. I've got some autistic kids, so I'm always a little tentative about having them go to summer camp. But they seem to like it and seem to do well there. So let's see here. Yeah, this looks pretty good. I think I need more black in here. The power of black. Let's see what we can do in terms of balancing this out. Yeah, this is pretty close. Pretty close. We're not too far from where we want to be here. Yes, this actually didn't turn out too bad either. Quite pleased by this. I should Zoidify more Pokemon, though I have plenty of Pokemon art. I'm thinking of getting away from it, trying some new stuff. Got tons of Pokemon drawings. Might try a Rick and Morty drawing, we'll see. Also want to do a Spock drawing of him, I don't know, Spock drawing of him ripping on Jedi. Oh, let's see, the Autonomous Traveler says, creativity has taken a backseat to making money. Yeah, that might be it. With AI, certainly a lot of companies seem less inclined to invest in human creativity, which I think is a big mistake. Unfortunately, a lot of this AI stuff, it looks okay-ish, I guess, but it looks like something you'd get at the dollar store. Bat Mike says, what's your method when drawing more mechanical parts? Well, thank you for asking that question because it gives me an opportunity to pitch my robot and mecha drawing class yet again. But yeah, I go over that in detail in my robot and mecha drawing class. So if you really want to up your robot game and learn my technique, it's like $35 on Proco. Check it out. It's fairly affordable. The price is going to go up once I add a new lesson. So if you get it now, you don't have to pay for that increase. But yeah, I'm actually adding 2 new lessons on mechanism and mechanical design thought process. So I didn't think it was needed, but a lot of people asked for it. Some people are actually disappointed that it wasn't there to begin with. Others were like, eh. You know, I think people who are mechanically inclined are like, yeah, it's not necessary. But people that are less, you know, less mechanically astute, and that's quite a few of us. Not everyone has different artistic temperaments. For those who are less mechanically astute, you know, it's something that they really wanted, and it's something that I can provide for you. So it's actually not that hard at all. Quite a bit of design experience, so I have an understanding of mechanism and so on. Alright, you're looking zoidy. Let's make sure we got some other good stuff in here. Make a little, yeah, that's cool. That'll work. That looks zoidish. Zoidish. I'm looking at the whole Zoid concept, and there we go. Put that in there. Now right now I'm just looking at a Zoid and I'm just kind of copying some of the detailing that you see in a Zoid and just populating the design with it. Extreme Maybe says, you really want to cheese people off, draw Spock wielding a lightsaber saying, "May the Force be with you." I'm actually going to go further than that. I want to do a series called Whoring to the Algorithm, where I just make stuff that's just blatantly there to get engagement. And I want to make like a very offensive, I want to mix like things that both the left and the right would feel that are offensive, but in the same character. So I want to I want to mess with that. But the first one I'm going to make is just Spock ripping on the Jedi, because I was watching episode 1 or 2, but it's the one where they're like talking, the Jedi are like, we are blind to, our force powers are blind to what the Sith are doing, and we can't use our force powers to detect what's going on. And I'm like, well, have you considered just logic and reason? Because it's your suspects aren't that many, honestly, in that big galaxy. It's very, very clear who your Sith suspects would be. And you know, you can just use deduction. You don't need space monk abilities to figure this out. It's not, you got this obscure senator, you know, surrounded by all this conflict, having this meteoric rise in your government. I mean, you know, you may want to look into him a little bit, you know. I think a little logic would be helpful. Might point you in the direction of whoever your Sith problem might be. But no, they're like, yeah, we only use the Force, and we have this weakness, so we can't tell people we have this weakness. And oh, okay, now we're in this violent galactic conflict that could have been prevented if they just used or outsourced logic and reason. You know, if like Spock, if Vulcans were involved in that, I think your Sith problem would have been taken care of pretty quickly. But no, the Jedi, they could not use logic and reason. They could only use the Force. I'm like, yeah, it's good to trust in the Force, but you know, if it's not working for you, it's okay to, you know, try other methods, like, I don't know, first principles or something, you know, asking questions. You know, you'd think like the Jedi, they're too, here we go. Now I'm ripping on the Jedi. I can't stand Jedi. But they're like this very isolated secular group that really they have a way of doing things, and they don't really they don't really ask for help. And they really need to ask for help. These Jedi, I don't know, but yeah, if they did that, you wouldn't have had a episode 3. Actually, you probably wouldn't have had an episode 2. It'd just be episode 1, The Phantom Menace. Not so phantomy. It's fairly obvious. Yeah, the Jedi, they kind of blew it, and then they got taken over by 2 friggin' degenerates, and that was that. And the whole of the universe is now in this insane, costly civil war. Bat Mike says, is there a drawing or illustration you like to be 3D? I'm a student 3D modeler, and I would love to model one of your works if you would allow me. Sure, go ahead. Yeah, just show me when you're done, and yeah, I'll post it on my site. Yeah, I'd love to see your work. What do you model in? I've been toying with the idea of working in Blender. Game Bro says, "Holy amazing drawing, thank you." And Extreme Maybe says, I bet Spock would have figured it out. I wouldn't bet that Spock would figure it out. I don't bet on a sure thing, man. It's, no one would bet against Spock. Of course he'd have it figured out. Go in there and go, that's very logical. Yeah, this one obscure senator who's, just happens to be rising up the political ranks out of nowhere based on some sort of weird, contrived trade embargo. I don't know. Maybe he's your problem. I'm going to throw that out there. How did you do that? Are you a Sith? No, I use my brain. Yeah, I use logic and reason. Really? You don't meditate for hours and do silly little backflips? No, I just use reason. Yeah, solved your problem. Yep. But you did that without doing a backflip or spinning a laser sword. No, you really don't need a laser sword to figure this stuff out. You just kind of, I mean, you could write it down on a piece of paper or a notebook. You can ask questions and be inquisitive. But no, I mean, yeah, there's other ways to solve things other than, cartwheels and meditation. Bat Mike says, I'm learning Blender on my own, but I mostly work with ZBrush. Oh, cool. And Maya only to make more mechanical parts. Really? Is Blender good for mechanical parts? I don't know. Is ZBrush? I know Maya's pretty good. I've heard good things about Maya. Maya they used to use back in my day when I was an Alias user back in college. I got okay with it. It's much better in Rhino. I've done my share of 3D modeling. But yeah. I think getting into the 3D modeling toy space would be very interesting for me. So right here we're just trying to throw in some mechanical shenanigans. But yeah, I gotta tell you, the more you think about the Jedi and the way they handled that whole Sith debacle, you're like, yeah, that was preventable, guys. That was just you guys being kind of prideful, Just go out there, go, hey man, we got this weakness. We need like your Spock guy. We need your deductive guy, and then we can figure this out. Yeah, I think I'm gonna post that Spock meme tomorrow. Get the internet all fired up. Just got to draw Spock. I actually did a quick drawing of Spock when I was at a con yesterday. It didn't go very well, unfortunately. It was weird. I was at a con and I was actually designated as not an artist. So people were going around. They have like these little sheets of paper where they wanted to get the signatures of all the artists, and they'd come over to my booth and go, "Can I get your signature?" And I'm like, "Actually, I'm not allowed to sign that. I'm not actually considered an artist here," which is very bizarre. Very bizarre. But I'm like, "Yeah, sorry, gotta awkwardly turn you away. I mean, if you want to buy a print, I could sign that, but I cannot sign that sheet." So that was a little rough. But yeah, I didn't make a lot of money there either. Unfortunately, I probably won't be doing that con again, unfortunately. Nice people, well run, great people there. It was in Schenectady, New York, but unfortunately the market just isn't there. Maybe it'll improve down the road. So So we'll see. We shall see. But yeah, I'm going a little long today, guys. What the heck? What the heck? Make it a long live stream. I'm kind of having fun with this. I'm like, I don't really want to stop. And, well, if I'm not going to stop, then might as well keep streaming. So let's see, any other cool comments? Or uncool comments, as it might be. Don't need to be super cool here. In fact, I think it's hip to be square, and it's not just me who thinks that, but another gentleman by the name of Huey Lewis. And the news, thank you very much, found a lot of value in not being hip. And I gotta tell you, someone who wears New Balance cross trainers, I also value not being hip. Actually, I don't do that. I'm a flip-flops guy. Let's see. Let's get this tail done and done right and done well. I think we're going to have some stuff here. I'm not even paying attention to where the perspective is. That's a bad habit I've developed. Just kind of wing it. I don't even pay attention to perspective. Yeah, the perspective's way off. Way off. Sometimes I do like my perspective to be wrong because it gives it a more gestural feel. If your perspective's too consistent, things do get kind of stiff. It's one of those things where I encourage people to understand the rules of perspective so you can break them. Two different ends. I know even Sid Mead would sometimes cheat his perspective. A lot of people would come and go, "Oh, Sid, your perspective's wrong in this drawing." And then, well, if you look at the composition of the drawing, the actual design of it, misusing and misinterpreting or misrepresenting the perspective was actually the right choice. So, yeah. So we'll make this black as well. Yeah, I'm kind of liking the way this is turning out. This is a good little drawing. Yeah, if anyone else wants a Zoid commission, I seem to have a grasp of it. Pokemon Zoid. Might even throw a little color on this. We'll see. But I must admit, I am working this very hard for the price this gentleman is paying. So I think he's very pleased to say he's gonna get a very good deal on this commission. And that's a beauty if you actually have time. I mean, normally my schedule is very busy, or at least it has been for the past 10 years, and it's still have a schedule, still working, still supporting myself, but I have more time just due to the nature of the economy. Since I have more time to baby these commissions when I get them in. So, Extreme maybe says, yes, but do you have T-Vaz sandals? Is that like the old guy sandal? I don't know. They had this great kind of bit on the internet where you had like this old dad and his son is kind of entering middle age as well, and he's kind of taking him through the paces of like how to dress like a middle-aged guy. It's actually very, very endearing, and this funny as hell and like very almost touching, because the dad's like showing his son how to be not just be a man, but be a middle-aged man. The son puts on his socks and the dad kind of gestures to his legs like he's pulling up his socks even higher. And the son's like, oh, and he pulls his socks right up to his, right past his calves. It was great. He laid out some New Balance shoes for his son to wear. Like the lame ones, the cross trainer ones. It was great. It was a little touching. Like, I'm hoping to have that moment. I'm like, yeah, I'm looking forward to having a moment like that. Unfortunately, I didn't have much of a relationship with my dad, so I didn't have the passing the middle-aged torch moment, but I'm hoping to have that with my sons. So, son, it's time to be lame. I will show you. I will teach you how to talk down to the people at Home Depot. I don't know, or whatever. I'll teach you how to talk about lawnmowers and which engines are crap. And I don't know, whatever middle-aged men talk about. Let's see. Raven Song Art says, I joined the session late. I just wanted to say Arcania has been my favorite Pokemon since playing Red and Blue. It's nice to see the representation. Thank you. Needed this at the end of the crappy day. Raven, are you the guy who got the who asked for this commission? And I'm sorry you're having a crappy day, man. What's going on? The Autonomous Travel says, loyal fan watching and listening to you on phone while watching muted ABC News on TV. Right on. Well, take what you can. Take what you can. But, yeah. This actually is not a bad drawing, I think. Wasn't sure how this would turn out, but it's actually going pretty well. Yeah, hitting a lot of my process too, which is good. But boy, there's a lot of detail in this sucker. I think I'm going to do this, well, maybe I should do the leg right now. Why not? Get it done. Get her done. But, yeah, I was actually, I did a Pokemon Con. Not this Sunday, but a week ago, and I did it on a lark. I was invited to it, and I'm like, okay, I'll check it out. I got to know the person running it from some other cons, and really great person. So I'm like, you know what? At the very least, let's go out and support this thing. Like I'm there to support, and I'll help them out. Well, I went there, and holy heck, was that a great convention. So if you guys are in the Elmira area, I highly recommend checking out their Pokemon Fest. It is great. Ravensong says, not me, I'm a girl, but I would have absolutely commissioned this. Right on. Well, I'm sorry you're having a rough day. My gosh. Yeah, it's, I'll tell you, those rough days, they come and they go, but they, yeah, get your reps in. That's what I tell my kids when they're having a rough day. It's going to be rougher, so get your reps in, toughen up for the really rough ones. Hopefully this wasn't a really rough one. But, yeah, it's never fun having a sucky day. Never fun at all, my friend. I hope your fortune changes and changes quickly, and it will. It's the beauty of fortune and luck, and good days and bad days. They sometimes come in a timing all their own and leave just the same. So, I'm sure tomorrow will bring you better fortunes. But yeah, it's never fun having a crappy day, I must admit. I've certainly had my share. It's actually last year, for me personally, it was probably one of the roughest years of my life, and I'm very, when you have a year like that, I personally find I get very grateful for the other adversity I've had in my life that kind of prepares you for it in a weird way. Like, you kind of need those shit days to kind of prepare you for the real crap days. Or years or whatever. But they come to all of us. And, we get through them. As unpleasant as it might be. I admit, yesterday it wasn't a total crap day, but it wasn't great. I did not enjoy the convention I was at, unfortunately. Trying a new one. I think it was a good convention though. If you guys are ever in Schenectady for Electric City Comic-Con, I recommend it. It was actually pretty good. It just wasn't a very big turnout and that sort of stuff. But the organizer was very good, very professional. Had great volunteers and stuff like that. I just personally didn't have a very good time. Mainly due to sales. There just wasn't as much traffic as I would have liked. And, yeah, just didn't go well for me. But it was a good con. Ravensong R says, just one of those where everything goes wrong and it piles up on top of you, All good, though. It can't rain all the time. As Eric Draven says, yes, a Crow reference. Thank you. How old are you? I must know, because that came out when I was 17 and going through actually another shitty time in my life. Let's see. Pain gives us wisdom. A cancer survivor told me that. Yeah, that's true. That's very true. Space Void says, I wish I could watch the stream, but I gotta sleep. Don't worry about it. It will be posted and up tomorrow. So check it out. And I might be done with this because I don't want to mess up this leg, so I might do that off stream. Because this thing turned out way, way, way better than I thought it would. I thought it would turn out good, you know. I was like, yeah, I was confident I would give value to the person who got this, but yeah, I'm very pleased with the way this turned out. A Zoids Pokemon. Crazy. Vex Zero says, greatness has arrived. Ravensong says 37. Okay, so you're not as old. You're not a geriatric like me, but you know The Crow. Interesting. Yeah, I haven't watched that one in a while. That was an amazing film. That was really ahead of its time. Some of those early '90s superhero films really hit, like Blade, The Crow. I actually got to meet James Barr when I was at a convention last year. Really nice guy. We chatted a bit. It's really an honor to meet him. But, you know, get some comic book advice. You know, pretty much guys like that, their comic book advice is, don't do it. You know what he goes, you know what the difference between a pizza and a comic book artist is? A pizza can feed a family of 4. I'm like, well, I don't know. I got to try this comic thing. I got to try to make my own little story. I don't know if it'll make money. I'm just going to do it. That's what I'm doing. So stay tuned. Kind Man says, busy celebrating, so I can't stay today, but thank you as always for these sessions. They're always the best motivation, and you're always the best company to draw along with. Well, right on, man. Thank you so much. That really means a lot. Friendly Neighbor says, let's freaking go. Ravensong R says, absolutely adore The Crow. Such a good flick. Yeah, if you ever have a chance to meet James, he's a really, really nice guy. Very approachable. Definitely, he definitely has a kind of battle-hardened feel to him, which, in my opinion, makes him a bit intimidating, but not so much. He's a great guy. Really enjoyed meeting him briefly. Oh my gosh, why is my dog barking? Kind Man says, this is your attitude during one of your hardest years. You're a hero. Thank you, man. Well, I got a wife that's very supportive, and I have amazing friends, and I've been through my share of hard times too, but yeah, it's there are definite challenges. But yeah, thank you. I appreciate that you find I'm doing it with some dignity and grace. Normally, I'm quite the complainer, so you don't see that. But yeah, thank you. It happens. Everyone's clock is going to get ticked for a hard year. Ravensong says, wow, you met James? That's so amazing. Awesome. Yeah, he's a good dude. Good dude. Ravensong, Art, would you check out my drawings? I don't know. Maybe. 2134 says, your art never fails to amaze, sir. Thank you so much. Extreme maybe says the Crow soundtrack was dope. Oh yeah, it was. That was like STP, Stone Temple Pilots. That was like their big breakout, album. They were on that album with Interstate Love Song, I think. But yeah, that album was insane. Friendly Neighbor says, Toya, since you're a pro, I wanted to ask, when I was new at art, this felt really intimidating, and now after spending so long on it, it doesn't intimidate me anymore. It's like I know I can draw anything. Yeah, like anything, confidence is earned, and the more mileage you get in, the more confident you're going to get, and the more you're going to be like, hey, I can take care of that. Drawing is one of those areas in my life where I do have confidence. I would not describe myself as a confident person inherently, but I've done so many reps at drawing that typically when I jump into a drawing, I feel fairly confident. Certainly confident enough to do it on a live stream. So, but I think we're almost ready to wrap up this drawing, guys. I'm going to figure out this on my own. I want to tweak it a little bit, and I want to mess with some of the details, but yeah. So Kind Man says, haha, same, all the best, right on. Made by Trin says, amazing stuff is happening here right now. Right on. Awesome. Well, I think it's about time to wrap up this live stream, guys. So, Made by Rin says, do you still generally get humbled at this level or not? Oh, I'm humbled all the time. I mean, humbled by the stuff I need to learn. I'm humbled by the amazing art that some younger and more talented artists are cranking out. And yeah, it's all good. Being humbled, nothing wrong with being humbled. I'll tell you that. So, guys, we're gonna wrap it up. I'll just mention, hey, I have a robot and mecha drawing class on, let's see, on Proco, as well as a line weight drawing class. Two things I demonstrated in this live stream. And if you want to learn my techniques that I use today, definitely check those out. Otherwise, be creative and stay safe. And I'll see you guys next week. All right, guys, take care. Bye bye. All right. Thank you, everyone on YouTube. And we are going to wrap this up as well. Like, share, subscribe, everyone. All right.